the course of the week. I think for myself, I know kind of growing up as a coordinator and as a play caller, it gets really easy early on to want to call the perfect play and call just about everything you could think of. But at the end of the day, I've always found that we have our most success offensively when we try to focus on just doing what we do and trying to do the best we can. The old expression, you want to be, an inch wide but a mile deep, is something that we've kind of been focused on the last few years as an offense. Rather than having a million different plays that we could run, we'd rather focus on maybe a handful of plays that we can get really, really good at, but have a multitude of ways to run them. Earlier this week, I was talking to a guy, or listening to a guy, Coach Phipps. He was doing a presentation, and he had a really funny quote I liked. He said that when you look at your playbook and you get into your season, you want to have a play that's going to be mama. And what he meant by that is, when things are going bad, what's going to be the play you go to in your playbook, on your call sheet, when you have to get a play run, and you got to have some type of success. And so for us, we feel like if you have those type of plays in your playbook and you have that play in your playbook, you really want to focus on protecting it. A lot of people like to call it window dressing. We call it protecting our top plays. And the reason why is because we want to be able to run our top play no matter what the situation may be, no matter what the defense is giving us. We want to put ourselves in a position, if we have a play that we feel comfortable with running, we want to be able to run it at all times. And so we'd like to dress it up as much as we can, make it look different, but really focus on keeping it simple for our kids. When we call the play, they know it's coming, and they can execute it to the best of their abilities. So what we like to do, for us, our play the last couple seasons, our top play has been our H-back counter play. And one thing I will say right now, for you guys, you may not be a two-back guy. You might be a wing T guy. But I think a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is going to apply to any offensive system. For us, our staple of our offense the last 2 seasons in our run game has been our H-back counter. It's our two-back counter. I drew it up against a couple different fronts here. It's a real simple concept. I'm sure many of us run it. Play side tackle and play side guard. Your rule is going to be gap down backer, where it's simple down blocking scheme. Your center is looking to replace your pulling guard versus a 4-man front versus an odd front. He's going to look to help double team with the play side guard. Your backside guard on your counter play is going to look to pull and kick out the end man line of scrimmage. We teach our backside tackle to do what we call a wheel block, which he's going to first start off by stepping down into the B gap where that pulling guard just vacated. And then he's going to see if there's anything coming to that B gap. If there is, he's going to block it. If not, he's going to open up and wheel off the backside edge to try to make sure there's no pressure coming off the backside. Our H-back, he is kind of our second puller on this play. His job is to pull and be inside the kick out of the guard. He wants to hug these down blocks as tight as he can to try to eliminate space, and he's looking to block the play side linebacker on both different fronts, whether it be versus an odd or an even front. For the quarterback and the running back, it's pretty simple footwork for the quarterback. He's just going to open up and wait for the running back to go through his footwork. We teach our running back to take a jab step and come down, look to find his H-back and follow him through the hole. But this was our number one play, and no matter what happened every single week, this was in the game plan. It was in our top 10. We were going to figure out how we were going to run it, and if we were playing against, a team that had some dudes and we had to get creative, we were going to do what we can to be creative to make sure that we could be successful running our counter play, because we knew that if we couldn't get this play going, it was going to be a long night for us. And so our H-back counter was our top play. All right, so how do we protect it? Well, there's 5 things I want to talk to you guys about today in regards to protecting this play. The first one is going to be our key game, which I'll go over some basic rules for that. The second thing that we look to do is we want to add motion to our formations as a way to protect our top run play. Number 3, unbalanced formations. Number 4 would be running back shifts. And then the last thing would be complement plays to our top play. Just kind of keep the defense honest, especially if they are in a situation where they're trying to overload the side that we tendency-wise would be running the counter to. So these are the 5 things that we would do every single week to try to protect our top play and allowed us to be successful and run the ball, especially running counter on a week in and week out basis. All right, so the first thing we want to take a look at, and I apologize if it was a little small. I can send you guys this presentation if you want. My email's on the front of the PowerPoint. I'll pull it up at the end. Just ask and I'll send it to you. But the first thing that we do, and I know this is kind of a thing that a lot of schools are doing now to protect not just our counterplay, but to protect any run play, is what we call our key game. And our key game is a pre-snap read by our quarterback where essentially we could call a run play, but if the quarterback decides based upon leverage or alignment of the defense that he thinks he has either a quick screen or an easy quick pass wide open, that he has the option on his decision to make and throw that football at any time. Okay, and based upon the formation that we are in, we have different rules, but all of our inside runs are automatically going to be tagged or built in with our key game rules attached to it. Okay, so if you're a spread guy, I drew up here. If we're in 2x2, our key game rules on both sides automatically are going to be double bubbles. All right, so if the quarterback comes up and we call an inside zone play or whatever one play you have on, and you're out in 2x2, the first thing he's going to look at is going to be numbers. All right, do we for some reason have a numbers advantage over here? Do they only have one guy out defending? Or do we have leverage? Maybe they want to cheat that linebacker inside the box as much as they can. If we have leverage or numbers, we want to throw the bubble over here, or vice versa, depending upon which side the quarterback sees as the open side. But we're running bubble on both sides. It's good for two reasons. Number one, it allows you to be in the best play call possible. If they want to bring pressure and load the box and leave this guy uncovered, after a lot of practice, your quarterback will be automatic, and he'll see that and know just to throw the bubble as opposed to you running the ball into a blitz. And number two, it causes all these guys to know that at any point they could be getting the ball or the ball could be thrown their way out here on the perimeter. So it really is nice for maximum effort from everybody on the play because we never know where the football is going to go. In the 3x1 set, this is the same type of rules, our key game, but now we change it up a little bit. The single receiver here on the backside is going to have a 5-yard hitch. It's a little bit shorter than our normal hitch route. If we're running just a regular pass concept, it's a 5-yard hitch where he's looking to sit that at about 5 yards on the single receiver side. And then the 3 receiver side, we're looking to run a bubble to number 3. And again, this is just the automatic rule that we have built in. So when the quarterback comes up, again, he's looking for numbers. Do we have a numbers advantage? Do we have a leverage advantage? Are they cheating a guy in the box? If they do, we want to throw a bubble. Are they playing a corner off? And do they have that hang player cheating inside the box here to the single receiver side? If they do, we want to throw that hitch on the backside. And the quarterback just comes up, make that decision. He has to tell. He doesn't have to tell anybody. He just does it. Now the big one for us running out of our counter, okay, would be this look down here at the bottom of the screen, running out of 2x1. In a 2x1 set, or if we have that second back end, whether he be in the backfield or in a wing, he does not count as a receiver. All right, so for us, the receivers on the right in that bottom formation are treating it as if they're the 2 receivers over there. So we have a bubble, and we have the number 1 receiver blocking MDM. All right, and then on the outside, single receiver on the backside, he's going to run his 5-yard hitch route. And the quarterback, again, pre-snap can make those decisions on where he wants to go to the ball. Okay, real quick kind of coaching point for all these guys that are blocking MDM. One of the biggest things that our receivers coach stresses a lot is he talks a lot about those guys coming off the ball under control. And we're talking about taking read steps. The term MDM stands for most dangerous man. Okay, and most of the time, you can kind of make a prediction pre-snap who you're supposed to block, but it's not 100% guaranteed. The defense may move on the snap. They may roll coverage on the snap, whatever the case may be. So what these guys are coached to do is coached to come off the ball, and after their first 2 steps, they're going to hunker down and read a little bit and see where the defense is going, how they're moving before they block the defender that they consider to be most dangerous. We spent a lot of time repping this in practice, but this is built into every single one of our run plays, so we felt like it's important to us. Okay, so that's just kind of a brief rundown of our key game on what we do. And that's kind of step 1 to protecting our run plays. The next thing that we do is we want to put in some motions to protect our run plays. And this year, this was a lot of fun for us. This was a big motion we ran. This was our orbit motion. Okay, orbit motion for us was for the number 2 receiver. Okay, and he could be coming from the backside of the play. It doesn't matter. But his job was the full speed motion behind the quarterback and behind the running back. I look to run that route over the field side. What the receivers had to understand from their knowledge is that this was still a key game play. All right, so all that happened is we motioned from 2-by-1 to 2-by-1. So the field side receiver had to understand that we motioned the receiver to his side, and the key game now became the bubble concept over here, and then backside we had the single receiver running the now route. We ran their motions, like I said, towards where we wanted to run the counter or away from it, and we made a lot of plays just trying to keep defenses honest with this motion. So after the key game, motioning was big for us, just out of our base formations, trying to get the defense honest and protect our plays. So I got a couple cut-ups that I'll show you, give you an idea of what we're talking about here. Give me a second. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's going on here. Let me try logging back in. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, so first clip here is going to be us, again, running that orbit motion. We're going to be running with our slot receiver here. In this particular case, we want to run the orbit motion, and we're going to run the counter back to where the motion is coming from. We run it both ways. Really, it just kind of depends on what the defense is giving you. Here's kind of the big thing. When we talk to our quarterback, what we talk to him about is if this defensive player, this hang player, or this safety, whoever they want to put in here as the force defender doesn't move, we talk to him about being automatic and throwing this bubble every single time. Okay, we want to force the defense to try to play us honest. If they want to try to load the box and let this guy run out here, we're not going to let them do that against us. Okay, so here's a good job by our quarterback. We send the guy in motion. Defense does not move, so he's automatically going to dump it out here. Okay, we get a nice, 8, 10-yard gain. All right, a pretty easy concept for the quarterback to understand, and a nice play. We did a good job by our receiver here making the block as well. You can see the example here, number 10, kind of taking those read steps. He's looking first to see if this guy's going to fly out. He doesn't, so now he knows he can go and block the corner. Okay, that's a pretty good job by him. Okay, same concept now. Again, they don't come out. We want to throw this automatically. Okay, here's another example now. This time we're running the motion, but we're going to run counter into the motion. This really puts these play side defenders in a bit of a predicament because they have to decide whether they're going to play the counter. They're going to see a down block here. He's taught to squeeze, but at the same time, he's going to see a motion coming across that maybe he's being told he needs to now go out and cover, especially if we've hit the bubble a couple times. So it puts him in a difficult spot. You can actually see him start to squeeze, and then when he realizes the ball is going to be thrown, he goes out and chases. That's a tough thing for a high school kid to try to pick up, especially during the middle of the game as part of the, if it's in your game plan. Okay, same thing kind of down here on the goal line. We send the motion. This kid doesn't really fly out too much. Our outside receiver does a good job of deciding who's going to be most dangerous, ends up picking up the guy over the slot. you. Now it makes your inside run game, protecting that run, so much easier. In this situation, our pulling guard, number 74, has no defensive end to kick out because the defensive end that's sitting here up top actually goes inside our tackle. So our tackle is going to wash him down. And our pulling guard and our H-back actually end up blocking the same guy. I would love to see our wing, our H, wrap around this and go and try and block a safety. But there's no defensive end to block. We have two pullers for one guy. And at the end of the day, a nice 5-yard gain, we'll take that. Okay, so that's some example of just motion. After we've motioned for a while and just sit in our base sets for a while, the next thing we like to do is come out in some unbalanced formations. Here's where we had a lot of success because now we're coming out in what looks like a regular 2x1 set. All right, but pre-snap, we're going to motion to an unbalanced 3x1 set, which for high school kids, picking that up automatically every single time, it can be a little bit of a challenge. Especially if we have a base set that looks like this, where he would be on the line and he would be off. Now they got to recognize that this receiver is off the line. We're going to motion. It's going to happen right before the snap. There's just a lot of moving parts. So we really like going unbalanced a lot. We feel like it gives us a number advantage here to the play side. We would like to maybe throw our bubble. We have an extra blocker over here now. So we're going to force the defense to kind of declare a little earlier where they want to align. So it's very similar to what we try to do with our motions. But like I said, now we throw some unbalanced stuff, allows us to motion to an unbalanced trip set, and that key game is still live, or at least that key bubble side. Obviously, there's nobody back on the weak side. We'll run this again with the counter going to the motion or away from the motion. And again, we've had a lot of success doing it. Okay, so here's some cut-ups of that. Okay, so here we are. We come out in an unbalanced set. This receiver, we as coaches, all of us know he's ineligible. All right, there's no reason for him to have to worry about going out for running around, whatever the case may be. But here they have a guy coming out and trying to cover him and defend him. For high school kids, this is a tough thing for them to pick up. I don't know about you guys, but at our school, we play a team that runs a lot of unbalance. It takes a little bit of time and coaching for them to understand what it means if both guys are covered, etc. So here we're running counter. We have our motion coming now to the trip side. Same basic understanding for the quarterback. If nobody moves, we want to snap this out there. Now, personally, I would like to see our slot receiver go and block him. What triggers him to come down inside is that this corner is running all the way from the backside to try to run with our receiver who we end up throwing the bubble to. Our receiver up top, number 10, does a good job of trying to get 2 for 1 here. And he peels off late. But at the end of the day, when you're getting the ball like this out in space, the hardest thing that is happening on this play is not the throw, not the catch, not the running of the bubble, but the hardest thing to do for anybody on the field right now is for this guy to cover these 12 yards and tackle him in space. That's a challenging thing for defenses to do. So if you can get the ball in space to your guys, you're going to have a good chance to be successful. Okay, here's one now. We're again motioning to the unbalanced side. This time we got some movement. People are moving over. They got a safety walking over. Linebacker starting to shift over. So our quarterback decides to run the football. All that movement allows our running back to have a nice seam up here on the inside. We get a good kick out block by our guard. And we have some linebackers, because of the motion, are kind of running themselves out of the play. So again, it's about protecting your run plays, all right, and allowing yourself to run counter against any type of look you can see. Okay, unbalanced set again. Good job by the quarterback getting this out as quick as he can. Nobody moves. Just dump it off into space. All right, and again, the nice thing about unbalanced is that for the defense, they're still in a normal alignment. Okay, this is just a normal defensive alignment. They got their backside corner, field side corner. They're a 4-2-5 team. They got that extra hang, that hawk player sitting over on number 2. They're playing 2 high safeties. All right, they can play it like that because this looks like a regular 2-by-1 formation. We motion a guy over, no adjustment. All right, we have the opportunity to throw a quick easy bubble and make some plays. Okay, we did run a little bit of a split backs. Just want to show you guys some of the other window dressing we would do. So we line up in split backs and, again, run the same exact concept. We're an unbalanced set. We have 2 receivers on the line up top. Get a nice little chunk play there. Okay. All right, the next thing that we like to do is we like to focus on our running back shifts. And this is another way to kind of window dress where we're going to be at. We went and kind of broke down ourselves about midway through the season 2 years ago and pretty much picked up a tendency that anytime our running back was on the same side as our wing back, we were running counter like 90% of the time. And so when we played against some of the good teams that we played against, they do their homework, they do their due diligence, and they easily come up with the same type of numbers that show that we are very tendency heavy with the A-back and the wing back on the same side, that we want to run counter opposite. So one of the things that we decided to come up with was a way to still run our counter the way we like to run it, but have a quick shift right before the snap of the ball that is going to do a couple things for us. Number one, it's going to take us out of our normal tendency base alignment because we're going to start to play with our wing and our A-back opposite each other. We're going to quickly shift right before the snap, which is going to cause those linebackers' eyes to be looking at something that is not their normal key. And so it takes their eyes off their reads. And then the final thing is we felt like this quick shift for us was a pretty inexpensive install. We pretty much kind of went out there on the first day we wanted to do it, told the running back and the quarterback, here's our plan, and we meshed it for about 5 minutes, and they had it down. And so it seems like something that's kind of weird. You're quick motion, you're back, and he's coming back to run the counter. But it was really successful for us. And, again, it's just another way to window dress it. It takes you out of your tendency. It helps protect your counter play. And so it keeps defenses honest. And that's the main thing. You want to be able to protect your play. Don't let them overload to one particular side based upon your running back, wing back tendency. Okay, so here's some A-back shifts. Okay, and this one we're actually lined up in like a bunch set. So just some other ways that we kind of would, again, window dress. I think I've said that 100 times already, but a way that we would protect our play, window dress, or whatever we want to call it. We kind of change the formation. But in reality, this is our wing back. All right, this is our running back still. All right, the meat and potatoes of the play is still kind of the same thing when you look at it. We just have now 2 receivers. We're in a bunch set. It's a little bit different look. The defense has to treat it a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to motion our running back. And for us, we call this Liz motion. And our running back's just going to start working back at an angle. And when the ball snapped, he's coming right back underneath. Okay, and when a lot of these quick motions and shifts, all you're trying to do is slow some of these guys down and get them to not and start to not trust their eyes a little bit. Okay, this linebacker right here, he's going to see the motion. We know we run counter. Everybody knows we run counter. He's probably told to read this guard, but at the snap of the ball, he's going to see that motion out there. So his movement's going to take him away from the play. And that's what we want. We want that type of action to take him away from the play. We get a nice seam here. We'd like our wingback to do a little bit better job. But we'll take it. Okay, same thing now. Now we're actually in a bit of an unbalanced quads look. If you count the wing in here. Just trying to window dress the play again. We want a motion. So we got everything now going to the left. And we're going to run counter back the other way. Okay, again, if you take a look at the action here by the backfield action and what this linebacker and this safety ends up happening to them, they see that movement and almost run themselves out of the play. So like I said, just a little wrinkle. Pretty inexpensive as far as practice install time. Doesn't change much for you offensively. But for the defense, it's a completely different look. Now you got a guy moving pre-snap, slows some people down, takes you out of your base alignment where you might be tendency heavy, and helps protect, again, your base run play. Okay. All right. And then the last thing would be a recommendation is just have some top play complements, things that you can run that if they are lining up well to what you're doing and they're not really you're not getting much out of the shifts and the motion, things like that. We always wanted to make sure we had a couple of complements built in on top of our base play to again try to keep the defense honest. So the first thing was the key game, which we talked about earlier. Which with the key game, we felt like, we can try to make sure they're covering the full width of the field. We got the bubbles. We got the single receiver 5-yard hitch route. Our quarterback has green light to throw those balls. So that's always a big one. You throw the motions and things like that. Those are huge comments as well. The next one I would recommend is some type of RPO. And for us, our post-snap RPO, our favorite one that I'll show you here in just a minute to run off of counter, is just what we call counter glance. And I got it drawn up, and I'll show you some cut-ups here as well. And then lastly, we like to have a couple of kind of keep the defense honest concepts. And so we have our dive play, which looks like counter pre-snap, right, but it hits to the same side of the wing, which I'll show you. And then we run our swing screen, which is actually an answer to when we keep motioning, a complement to that as well. So just it's important to have these play complements built in. So you're not just running a random collection of plays, but that you have a process, an if-then type attitude where if the defense does this, you kind of have an answer for it. So the counter glance play, this was our number one RPO that we would run. We could run it with motion, could run it without motion. It didn't matter either way. And what it was for us is the backside receiver, the backside single receiver, whether we were motioning or not, I would run what we call a glance route. And this was like a 5-step push vertical, break off slant route that we would run with that single receiver on the backside. Our quarterback had a nice easy read, reading this backside linebacker. Okay, versus a 4-3 front, it'd be this backside will linebacker. He'd eyeball him. At the snap of the ball, he steps up, all right, to play the run. We pull it, and we throw that slant right behind him. Okay, versus an odd front, you're looking at that inside backer. Okay, again, he wants to step up and onto the run, which he's reading that guard. He probably should. Then you want to try to hit that slant route right behind him. Okay, for the other guys on the field, it's just counter. It really changes just for one person, and all we would do is call it counter glance right or counter glance left. So it's a real easy adjustment we could make for that single receiver on the backside to know he's going to run a glance route, and the quarterback knew now he had a post-snap RPO read as well. Okay, he could still throw, all right, this pre-snap key game if he wanted to. If we motion out here and they did not adjust, and this guy sat in the box, we could still throw that bubble screen out there to the motion guy. But if not, then we could always throw our post-snap RPO, or we could give the run. The other comments we talked about was our dive play and then our swing screen play with the motion guy. For the dive play, this is for you wing T guys, we basically was running a wing T belly is all it was. We were even cross-blocking at the point of attack, mixing our H up in there, kind of like you're running an ISO play. And we were just trying to get downhill as quick as possible. One thing that we kept seeing a lot of were teams were overloading actually away from our wing, so we put dive in as a complement to our counter. It was actually a counter for our counter, believe it or not. And so we would just run dive when teams would want to overload, and we didn't feel like doing all the fancy motioning. We just want to get downhill quick. We'd call dive. A-back would take one zone step inside, and he hit it downhill right now. Quarterback would step to him. He still had all his key game stuff, but this was a nice little compliment to our counter play. And I recommend, if you're a counter guy or if you're an inside zone guy, I look at what you can do that would be a quick hitter that is in a similar type of backfield set or formation that you're normally running. This was kind of our answer to some of the motions we were doing. If teams were really overloaded, whatever the case was, we just want to have a little wrinkle, and so we threw this swing screen where the motion guy would come in. Then he'd run a little swing. We'd tell the single receiver on that side to come down and crack. First linebacker inside. And then we were running our tunnel rules out here with our offensive line who would set pass protect. He'd kick the corner. He'd run the alley. And he'd look to seal anybody up inside. Okay? And again, it looked like we were just running our normal motion counter. But when the ball was snapped, it was something much different. Okay? So let's go to some of that film as well. All right, so the first one here, we're going to run counter glance. So we're in like a 2-by-1 set. We got our wing back sitting here, where our quarterback is going to be reading this guy. All right, if he steps up, we want to throw that slant route, or that glance route by our number one right behind him. If he sits or if he drops, we're just going to hand the ball off on the run. Okay, he stepped up. It's a nice, easy read for your quarterback. You get a nice window right there for throwing a slant route. What's nice about running it off of a play like counter is because there's a lot of down blocks and pulls, you're not overly worried about dudes getting downfield or things like that in too much of a hurry. And our quarterback does a good job of getting rid of this on time. Okay, and we get a big play touchdown. Again, he did have the option if you wanted to key this, he could. He decided not to, primarily because this game, the team we're playing did a really good job. He kept trying to cut the number 2 receiver every single time. We were having a hard time getting that blocked, but they didn't have enough guys back here on this play. We were able to get one on them. Okay, here's just an example of the key game stuff we talked about. Okay, here where our quarterback's going to decide to throw that hitch because there is no real hang player. The corner's sitting off, and this is their hang guy. When he sees the motion, he actually starts to backpedal. All right, for our quarterback, this was kind of a dead giveaway to maybe slow down. Let's just throw this hitch right now. All right, so he does. It was an on-time ball. We get a nice, easy 5 yards. Okay, so here's our dive concept. And again, for us, every time we've been in this formation, we've pretty much run counter. And this was, our huge tendency, right? We were running back same side as the wing back. We were going to run counter, and teams knew it. And so we wanted to develop a quick hitter out of that same look. And so we created this dive play, which was kind of a combination of wing T belly and then a wham play versus odd fronts. And I'll show you the end zone copy as well. Definitely coached up, trying to get big splits on this play, just to kind of open up some run lanes. We actually ended up whamming this with our tackle versus an odd front, was just a rule that we had. But it was just something quick hitting, just to keep the defense honest on that backside or on the side where the running back and the wing back are on the same side. And we would dress it up also. We'd motion just like we normally would. Okay, again, try to dress it up, make it look like you're just running your regular counter. Okay, here's an example we're kind of talking about. Teams are ready for us to run counter, so they got these 2 guys sitting here, plus their 2 defensive linemen. They got 4 guys back here. If we're trying to run counter into this, we're kind of down a man. But motioning out, run and dive, now we have a man advantage. So it's just having answers to what teams are trying to do. Don't let them take away your top play. At the end of the day, we ran dive because we wanted to run counter still. That was kind of our mindset. We want to protect our top run play. This one is kind of threw in just as a way to protect your motions. If you like the orbit motion stuff, we ran this a little bit. This is just we called it X swing screen to our motion guy. Big block is the single receiver now. It's to come and crack on the outside linebacker. Our kid does a pretty good job here. Your tackle's got to get out around that to go block the corner. Pretty easy pitch and catch here. Okay. Okay, guys. That's kind of it for what I had for you. For the most part, like I said, I just wanted to give you guys a couple of different wrinkles of things that we do to protect our top run game. And those are kind of the staples. When we put all that together in one game plan, whether it be the motions, the unbalance, you have the running back shifts. It's just a lot for a defense to have to spread out and cover horizontally. You have to make them cover the entire field. When they have to do that, it allows your inside run game to really open up. And I think you can add these little motions and shifts to just about anything you're doing. So if you want to, we can go ahead and open up any questions. We can answer that. I know they said there'd be some questions in the chat.
Yeah, if you guys if you got any questions, hit that chat thing there and see what you got.
Yeah, anything, guys? Any questions at all? See if I can move this. There you go. And there's my email address. If anybody wants just a copy of this or the cut-ups or whatever the case is, I'd be happy to share with anybody. Just let me know, and I'd be happy to help.
Anything, guys? Any questions? Coach, good stuff. Appreciate your time. A lot of,
Yeah, man,
lot of
no
getting,
problem. Thanks for having me. And if you guys out there, if you think of something later or whatever the case would be, feel free to reach out. Or if you want a copy of this PowerPoint or whatever the case would be, shoot me an email and I'll send you the stuff. And everybody stay safe out there. And, hopefully we get a chance to get back with our kids and coaching our kids here pretty soon.
Hey, Coach, we do have a question from looks like John Quam. Says use fly sweep as a compliment.
Yes, we do. We do use some fly sweep as a compliment, and it wasn't something that we ran a lot of, but we definitely have used fly as a compliment. The same type of concept. It's that quick motion right before the snap, where you're trying to get the defense to see the motion, make their reads, things like that. And if you're a good fly sweep team, it's definitely another wrinkle you can add to it.
John, can you hear us? Coach Quam, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for answering the question. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I can attest. Coach Lucero's teams are well coached, well prepared. We've played each other a number of times, and they do such a good job both sides of the ball, and good luck in your new with your new job, Coach. It's going to be exciting. Back to your alma mater. That's all good stuff. And
looks like we got it. Looks like we got another question here, Coach.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the question was, do you allow your lower levels to run these wrinkles? Absolutely. We want to try to encourage our lower levels to do as much as we can that the varsity does. So we definitely give them the opportunity to open it up. For all of us, it kind of depends on what you got coming in, what kind of quarterback you got at those lower levels. But definitely would encourage them to run some of the motions and things like that. We feel like the key game is a simple enough concept to teach at the lower levels, especially if you're motioning. Somebody doesn't move, you throw the bubble. Somebody goes out to it, you run the run play. And so we definitely will let our lower levels run this kind of stuff. And we've done so in the past, and they've been pretty successful with it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, guys. If there isn't any more questions, we'll let Coach go here, and we've got another speaker here starting here in a second. So we're gonna if you'd like to stay on, Coach Timmerman's coming in, offensive line guy. He's gonna talk a bit about offensive line, some off-season stuff, some preseason stuff for us, and we'll take a quick break here in a minute, and we'll get after it here in a second. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. Waiting for our next speaker to log in here a second, and we'll get going.